Hi, Candace.
Hello.
Hey, Jan.
Looks like she's muted.
Yeah.
I will be.
Right.
Hello.
Hi, Robin. Hey, Mia.
Hello. Hi.
Nice to see you, ladies.
Nice to see you all too. You.
Colin?
Colin's driving.
Yeah, I see that. Are you keeping your eyes on the road, Colin? Okay, so here's me, Jan, Candace, and Colin. Michelle's here. Let me just wait a few more minutes, see if a few more people hop on.
Have you guys been getting enough rain down there?
A lot. You know, who'd ever thunk you'd get sick of rain?
I know. Seriously.
Yeah.
Don't want to say I'm sick of it because the next thing we'll be in a drought. So
Well, right. So I'm thankful for the rain. But I'd be thankful for a little sun too.
I know
Little-
we are supposed to hold up that 300 days a year, right?
Mhm. Yeah, a little weather balance would be good. So, okay, well, it looks like we have a quorum here. We have Jan Johnson, Candace Craig, Colin McAllister, Chris Grow, David Crawford, and Anthony Lane. So, and also joining us, we have Robin Bartling and Robin Requisens.
That's pretty close. Mia Reckison.
From Fort Copeland and Wack, and also our council liaison, Michelle Weatherholt. So I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order for June 5, 2023. And I'd like to welcome Anthony Lane, our new PARAB member. Welcome to PARAB, Anthony.
Thank you. Yeah, happy to be with you all.
Yeah, great. We're happy to have both you and Candace on board, our two newest members for this year. We also city hired a new park and rec director. Her name is Gillian Rossi, and she'll be starting this Wednesday, I believe. And so we'll get to meet her at our next PARAB. Well, maybe in August, maybe, because July we're going to have our special retreat meeting. So, and also I invited our new parks manager, Brad Barr, to join us, but he might have been too shy. So anyway, so I'd like to amend the agenda for tonight to move old business to follow public comments not on the agenda. And with that amendment to the agenda, could I get somebody to approve tonight's agenda?
Good, I knew I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Tim. I'll second that. And then we have the approval of minutes for April 3rd, 2023, and also May 1, 2023. For a quick reminder, the minutes in April were about clean air lawn and how PARAB approved $10,000 to have them care for some of our larger parks. And then in May, it was, I asked for an additional $121 to add to that 10,000, and then I can't remember what else we talked about in May. So if anybody like to make a motion to approve both of those months of minutes.
I'll move to approve those minutes as well.
Okay, thank you, Tim. How about a second?
Crawford, second.
Thank you, David. Okay, we're going to move on to public comments not on the agenda. Is there anybody in the audience who is a public member who'd like to speak up? If not, we'll move on to old business. And we have our Soda Springs Park Master Plan additions and revisions with Robin and Mia. And this is based on our last meeting that we had with City Council and getting their feedback. So Robin, if you wanna, Robin and Mia, go ahead and lead the way.
Yeah, so I
absolutely.
think, Danu, I think we were going to mainly highlight the changes that we've made based on the city comments, and we have this memo, obviously, that kind of helped outline what those were, but we'll just highlight those, and then if there's any questions, we can get into anything further.
Okay,
Yeah, so as Robin said, we'll just kind of briefly go through some of the things that were talked about on May 9th with City Council. The first things we kind of talked about with them were the changes from the previous plan, including the removal of artificial turf, adding natural sod instead, the reduction of concrete, and we went over the water feature memo, and it was basically determined that an actual water feature was not in the best interest of this park, both financially and environmentally. So that's kind of highlighted here as far as the final council decision, and just using the natural creek as the natural water feature of the park instead of an artificial water feature. And that was a pretty universal comment from council, and I think PARAB also agrees, and we also agree with that it's a beautiful feature within the park, and just adding some additional steps down into the creek in a different location than what was done on phase 1 is what's desired. Another topic we talked about were bicycles. So we kind of talked about the bike ride station, bike lockers, and just making sure that we indicate locations on the plan for those, and making sure that there's enough room, and kind of logistically figuring out what makes the most sense near the restrooms, and being able to park a variety of different bikes in those locations. So
hey,
with this-
Mia,
yeah,
can I interrupt for a quick
course.
minute regarding
Danu.
that subject? I talked to Kevin Stevenson about Pike Ride, and
Okay.
they are exploring locations along Cannon Avenue now.
Okay.
So that can be open to change, or we can, delete that or remove some of those bike racks. So I just wanted to throw that in there, that the Pike Ride has kind of moved on from Soda Springs Park.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks, Danu.
Yeah, thanks.
This is Chris. I want to know more about that, and I want to know more about the bike lockers. But maybe
Yes.
that's coming later.
We'll talk about that on the plan and where we think the best location would be, and then we can kind of talk about what we're thinking as far as how those would work and the typical system for those.
Okay.
All right, so additional considerations specifically mentioned during the council meeting. It was commented that it'd be great if we could bury the electrical transformer in the park. And then if that wasn't possible, then to soften the actual transformer itself and to better blend with the park.
Yeah, but Danu again, they did the research and contacted CSU, and CSU said there was no way to bury that utility box because it was a main,
Right.
a main artery. Yeah,
Right. So since that meeting, like you said, Danu, it's not plausible to bury it. So instead, wrapping it with an artistic graphic and making sure that that's approved by the utility provider, but making it a nice feature above ground, essentially.
right.
Another comment that was talked about was for future construction, creek improvements, removing the large slabs of concrete that are within the creek and removing fencing along the creek that kind of causes clogging and debris gets stuck in that fence, and also some retaining wall issues. There's some crumbling of the concrete that's a little bit of a concern. So that would need a structural engineer to evaluate the existing condition of the wall and to make recommendations for repair. So we did not include any of that particular information in the master plan, but something that can be looked at a later time.
Right, because technically that's not PARAB's purview.
Right. And final comment was about audio improvements for the existing pavilion. In order to determine those costs, we would need an acoustical engineer to, again, kind of take a look at it, see what improvements would need to be made and determine cost for that. So we did not include that as part of the master plan either, but for something to be added later.
Good, good.
All right, so we'll jump into the updated master plan. So a few different things. We'll start over here at Fountain Creek. We indicated a couple locations where improvements could be made down to the creek that sort of mimic what was done in phase 1, but a little bit smaller scale. Just making it a little bit nicer of an access down to the creek to enhance the creek as the water feature of Soda Springs Park. So we added those in. We removed the large area of concrete with what was at one point showing the water feature. So we removed that, kept the existing little concrete pad at the end of that bridge, and indicated with a symbol that potentially you could add a piece of art or something in that location at a future time, but essentially keeping the Crusher Finds walkway, having access from the bridge to the playground and to the rest of the park, and just removing that concrete. Other improvements that we've made, we've removed the formal Crusher Finds walkway that we had initially shown from the back of the existing pavilion over to the transformer, and we made it a little bit more subtle with some stepping stones, and then indicated an art feature around the transformer since it will remain above ground, and just improving a little bit of the landscaping around there to soften it. And we did indicate, as number 10 is showing, a bike ride station, which we have now determined that maybe that is not where we're going to put it. It will be located in another location, so we can always remove that from the plan.
Can I have you swing over to area number 9 over by the pavilion?
Area 9 over here?
Yes.
Yes.
No, 9.
No.
Uh,
9
in
over
the
here?
corner there, in the corner of the pavilion. Right.
Oh, up here?
No.
Oh,
go
right here?
south. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Just so PARAB knows, that area is already been started as a rain garden by Concrete Couch. And Concrete Couch requested that they could expand that area a little bit more. And so I just wanted PARAB to know where that rain garden is located.
I have no idea which park we're looking at here. Can
Oh,
somebody name
Yeah,
the?
this is Soda Springs Park, the park that's down by Tubby's.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry about that, Candace. We can give you a little
Oh, yeah.
kind of orient you in the park for those of you that are new to joining us.
So this is Manitou Avenue, Candace. There's the Fountain Creek goes right through Soda Springs Park. There's some commercial businesses right along the edge of that creek.
yeah,
Um,
I just didn't know which.
Oh,
park
sure.
we're looking at.
Sorry about that.
Just some They look alike because they both are bordered by two streets, Manitou Avenue being one of them, and they kind of look alike. They all have playgrounds. Or they both do. But go ahead. Now I know where we are. All right.
Oh, no problem. And the phase one up here has already been constructed. So if you've been down there recently, there's creek access with little boulder seating and then a new playground with boulder climbing. So the rest of this master plan is not yet constructed. And while we're in that area, Danu, I know at one point we had the porta potties or Santalets right here against the south side of that pavilion. So we've relocated them to the north side on this corner of the back side of the pavilion in order to make room for what could or potentially future dumpster locations,
Yeah.
potentially not, depending on whether or not they stay in the park. But we've indicated a location for those. So
Mhm. I guess I'd like to have that other location around Area 9 also be a possible location for Santalets as well. Beside where you have them
I think the
posted.
reason
Because-
we weren't
yeah.
showing them there, Danu, is because
Yeah,
we were pushing to reduce the width of the crusher fines and not any kind of the maintenance width of that access. And if we do have the Santalets down there, we're back to making that wider again in order to provide that access for them to get us to drop them off. And then if they need to clean them out, they need to be within, I think, 30 feet of those typically.
and I only bring that up because I was down there looking at that today, and really that's going along that whole axis along that side of the pavilion is the only way a truck could get even remotely close to, the center of the park if it had to. I'm assuming they would probably use those little golf carts that they have now, but I was thinking it might be a good idea to try to leave that as open as possible if we ever had to have the truck for maintenance or for repair or something that had to get closer into the park.
Danu,
Yeah,
I would think if there is something reasonable for one of the large trucks to do something in the park, can't the Santalets really be moved? I mean, they're somewhat temporary, and I agree with Robin and Mia that it kind of tucks them away, and if it's in the other area of 9, it's going to conflict with Steve Wood's extension of the rain garden and what he's trying to accomplish there. So I'm just cautious about doing too much around the rain garden.
Yeah, I was looking at that too, and actually it could be expanded, but I wouldn't want it to go all the way to the end of the pavilion like it's drawn. But maybe, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
And I think visually it's better to get it tucked there in that northeast corner. Santalets are never pretty, even if they're wrapped. So if we have to have them, put them there, and then we can take them away when ASAP when we don't need them.
I guess that would be a conversation we'd have to have with the event organizers. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, keep going, Mia and Robin.
Yeah, it's a tricky location to get the
Yeah,
trash and Santalets back there, but we essentially we're trying to keep it very pedestrian friendly, keeping this as narrow as possible just to keep the pedestrian scale, and then only vehicles coming to unload or emergency access or to pick up Santalets or trash could just have this one little access way through here.
mm,
Um,
I like,
what was that, Jan? Did you say something?
I like it.
Okay. All right, so I can go through the entire plan if that's something some of us have not seen before, or I can kind of talk about, oh, I guess we didn't talk about the other change over here with the bike storage lockers. Robin and I were kind of looking at this location near the restrooms. People will probably want to park their bikes and lock them up here while they use the restroom or use the rest of the park. So this little quote unquote dead corner probably would be a great location for those. So we indicated it there.
Yeah, so those bike lockers, based on the space we have, we're thinking there might be room for 4 to 5 bike lockers. And there's a lot of different varieties of bike lockers out there. There's, vertical ones for storage, and then there's a regular horizontal storage. We were assuming horizontal would be better just because it's not so tall and such a visual impact. And then there are some that have access from 2 sides or 1 side. And given this location, we were assuming that you would access from this 1 side in order to put your bikes in there. There's a lot of, how is it stored? And we were assuming that these lockers, and again, this is a master plan, so we haven't specified anything necessarily other than, done some research on different products to feel like we have a good enough cost in the cost estimate as part of that master plan. But how it would lock, can vary, but it seems like the simplest and the one that requires the least amount of onus on the city would be a padlock. So you would bring a padlock if you want to do that versus more of a controlled, key fob or something like that. That would be a much larger management situation for the city.
Yeah, so those lockers are fully secure and they're angled on the inside a lot of times, so you can fit them from different angles. And like Robin said, we can fit a few in that corner. And then if there's a desire to have more, we can talk about other locations, but
I think that's a good starting spot. And since we really want to be more of a multimodal hub, I think offering that along with Pike Ride will be a super plus. And I think they're planning on doing some at Hiawatha Gardens too. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start.
yeah, and I like that the other bike rack up there, 20, where your pointer is.
Oh, yes, we
Yes,
did end up
up
moving
there,
that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I like it there because that's
Okay.
just a bunch of rocks there. Yeah. It's not,
Right.
it's not used
Right.
for anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And outside the utility boxes. So
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
quick place to lock your bike up, seems like. Yeah, do you want us to go over, kind of highlight the overall plan? And I guess, Danu, the goal for today is, I believe, to kind of get PARAB's approval to take it back to council. And I'm not sure if we're able to take it on the 20th or not.
Well, yeah, I'll have to talk to somebody. I'll have to talk to the mayor or the city administrator and see what their agendas are looking like, because it would have to go at a regular council meeting so they can formally vote on it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we
I
can
think-
reach out to them too, Danu,
Yeah.
and copy you. to see if we can. I know we had talked about it, but I'm not sure if they officially put it on the agenda, or we're kind of wait until we got
Right.
through today.
And a lot of the little stuff that's on the east end there, Robin, we can kind of tweak it when it comes to construction drawings, right?
Absolutely.
Because on area 23, those old planters have been there forever, and they have like really old native bushes there that have seemed to thrive there, and I hate to rip out all that stuff because it's been doing so well, and maybe we can just like put some kind of rock facing around the concrete so it kind of looks a little nicer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we were proposing
But
to
I
keep the
don't remember.
vegetation, but replacing
yeah.
the kind of removing the
concrete?
planter, because it's crumbling. It's kind of falling apart.
Oh,
So we
wall-
were
the wall
thinking,
around it.
yeah, the wall.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think there's a way to protect the vegetation, though. We agree that, I mean, we should protect as much of the existing vegetation as possible.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
but yeah, you're right, Danu. This is, master plan is a guiding document, and it's, it's not specifying the minutia of all the different pieces. But the intent of this east side obviously was to really activate a part of the park that's not active right now, with different features that would entice people to hang out in that area. But
Mhm.
it being also more passive than, where you have events and the lawn and then the play area.
Right. Okay.
So those are the changes from the last plan that we showed city council, but I'm more than happy to go over the rest of the plan for those that are unfamiliar with the details of it, or we can keep going, or however you'd like to proceed.
I think you've done a good job of folding in what the council wanted at the meeting where we were last with council. And I don't know if Michelle has any kind of updates, but I would say we folded in what was commented on, and also stuck to what the plan manager and the postmaster plan has.
I do not have any updates. But yes, I would definitely send an email to the mayor and to Denise to get that on the agenda for the 20th.
Any more input, Para?
Hey, this is Chris.
Go
I
ahead.
like the bike lockers. And so I just want to clarify. So I see on here bike lockers and then also a bike rack where it says 20.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We have bike racks here, down here, and up here.
What I would suggest for those bike racks is actually using, those can be purchased from Pike Ride, like the style that they use, and Pike Ride will sell them at cost to like cities like that, that have Pike Ride in the vicinity. So we could get those at cost, and then they can be used for Pike Ride bikes or for personal bikes. And anyway, that would be my suggestion, and then it would meet all uses. Anybody have any thoughts, or what were you guys thinking about that?
We didn't really, I think it certainly could be the same product. We hadn't really gotten to that level necessarily, but I think some consistency is good. And if there's a cost savings too, that's even better.
Does anybody else on Para? Go ahead, speak up. Colin, Jim, Dave?
No, I don't have anything to add. I think I really appreciate you going through this and I'm happy with how the plan is proceeding. Thank you.
This is Rebecca, and I feel the same. It's great. So good work, everybody.
Thank you. It's been an ever evolving master plan, but I think it's come to a good place.
So are we, I guess for council, do we remove the bike ride or do we just show it as a potential option? And then if it doesn't land there, that's okay. What's your preference on that one?
My preference is, since we have those other 3 bike stations, is to remove it.
My preference would be for Pike Ride with the option of not having it if it turns out to not land there, like you said.
So
Because
maybe we just label it as
I don't-
potential.
yeah, I don't know anything about the Canyons site, Canyon Ave site. I'm just not aware of that. So
They're just exploring for right now, Chris. Nothing definite.
okay. Well,
Okay.
I'm in favor of Pike Ride at Soda Springs Park, if possible. And if it doesn't land there, that's cool. Then these other bike racks can also kind of serve as places to park a Pike Ride.
Oh, yeah, and then do you want to just talk about the fencing that you added to the playground? Did we talk about that at the last review?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, we did add, per a comment from City Council, with concerns of being so close to the road and parking and little kids running around. It was requested to add an ornamental fence in the planting bed between the playground and the sidewalk. So you can see this light black line here with the little circles in it. That is indicating the ornamental fence pretty much to the limits of each side of the playground itself, with the break where the bicycles are being proposed as well, and any walkways or steps down into that space. There's not one there currently, but we've definitely added it in there, and we're thinking it would match sort of the ornamental fence style of Fountain Creek on this side. So something fairly small and, you know, still see-through, so it's not going to block any views or anything. But that's what that number 27 is indicating here.
Okay, PARAB, anybody else? Opinion, comment, input?
Good on the draft, I think. Thanks, great job.
Okay, I'd be open for a motion.
Make a motion to approve as amended.
This is Colin. I'll second that.
Okay, it looks like our updated, most current, recent version of the Soda Springs Master Plan is approved. All in favor? Aye.
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 I
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes, all approved. So then I guess our next step is just to move forward with council then, eh? Robin?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll copy you. I'll shoot an email out tonight on that, Danu, and just we'll see if we can get on their schedule for the 20th. I can't remember if they said it was already full or not back when we talked a few weeks ago,
Right.
but
Okay, yeah, because I think their regular meetings are every second and fourth Tuesday. Is that right, Michelle?
That is correct.
Okay. So, all right, then we'll keep in
Okay.
touch, and thank you so much for all of your time and work.
you're welcome. Thank you all.
Yeah, we appreciate all your comments and input and helping us get to this point.
Okay, great.
All right. Take care, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Now, for our next item It is the Crystal Park proposed land dedication. And tonight, Hannah, would you please like to introduce yourself?
You'd think after several years of doing Zoom meetings, I would know to unmute myself before I start talking. But yeah, I'd like to just quickly introduce myself since I see some new faces. My name's Hannah Van Nimwegen. I'm with the City of Manitou Springs Planning Department. And tonight, the intent of this particular item is to get PARAB's formal acceptance of a land dedication. So about 2 years ago, actually, before I dive in, let me just orient what property that we are talking about. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. So I'm guessing you guys are able to see Google Maps right now, and we are looking at this being Manitou Avenue. We're looking at Crystal Park Road, just across the street from Crystal Park Cantina. And specifically, we're looking at the south corner of Crystal Park Road and Sutherland Road right here. At, I would say, summer of last year, PARAB heard a couple of presentations from the planning department as well as from the applicants who are here tonight to help answer any questions. And at that time, the presentation was about where a potential pocket park could go on a property. And so it was agreed that the pocket park could go into that corner, and that it would generally take the place of, at that time, which was lots 14 and 15. And at the second meeting in June, it was decided that the far southwestern edge would be about where that existing split rail fence would be. And this map shows that. So we have the proposed pocket park on this site. The idea is that this land would be dedicated to the city of Manitou through a plat. And when the land becomes dedicated, public would have access to Sutherland Creek along this particular frontage as well. And so the actual plat, if anybody's really interested in seeing what that looks like, is this. So we have a vicinity map, the site map, and then we have the land dedication up in this corner. And so what runs through the middle of this piece is a waterline easement, which won't affect any temporary structures, similar to like a park structure. If you wanted to put one up here, that would all be fine. So the overall size is just over 11,000 square feet, which is one in about 5/6 of the other lot. And again, with this would come access to Sutherland Creek. So tonight, the purview of PARAB is to confirm that you guys are going to accept this land dedication. And then once that plat gets recorded, the city would be the owner of this particular piece. And then PARAB could start planning, programming this pocket park from there. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, or the applicant is also in attendance tonight to answer any questions. And we can go from there.
Questions, anybody? Hannah, I have a question.
Sure.
You know, with the whole planning ordinance, when we're doing land dedications, we are given the option to take land dedication or fees in lieu of land. With this particular piece of land that we're gonna have dedicated for a park, it's 11,686 square feet. However, based on the formula that is used to figure out how much land dedication PARAB is able to get through the ordinance, do you know what that number is for square footage based on that formula?
I do not know, but if you give me a second, I can do that math. I do know that I think it's I'll look at it, but I think it's a maximum, so we can accept anything up to a particular point unless it was donated. So it may be less, but I can do the math and see where we're landing.
Okay, well, the reason why I'm asking is originally when we started this whole process, one of the former planners had figured out that based on that formula and the size of the total square footage of the area, it was something like 35,000 square feet that was supposed to be a land dedication for a park. And so since it's 11,000, it's quite a bit less. So my question is, wouldn't we be able, or I don't know, not entitled, but wouldn't we be able to make up the additional square footage of land in fees in lieu of land?
That's a good question. So since I've been here a year, but still a little bit new. Do you
Yes.
recall that specifically being discussed before we came to the agreement on the lots 14 and 15?
Well, we didn't specifically discuss that amount, but I was just, in the past, I believe that's how it's been done, where if the land dedication doesn't equal the formula of what the land dedication should be, then it usually is equaled out in funding, monetary means.
Okay, well, I can definitely look into that component and then reach back out to you guys.
Okay, great. But then back to the original reason for why you're here, though.
So tonight, if we are understanding that we'll figure out the remainder or the difference, whether that's being fees in lieu or something else, if PARAB is supportive of this land dedication, then I need a motion stating such so that we can move forward to City Council to get that approval and then get the land dedicated.
Okay. Would anybody on PARAB like to make a motion to approve the land dedication as shown for Crystal Park Road for PARAB's Pocket Park, 11,686 square feet, formerly lots 14 and 15? Well,
This
ahead,
is Rebecca.
Yes, go
I
ahead.
move to approve the land dedication with understanding that we want to check in on the fees in lieu of land.
Yeah, I'll second that motion, Rebecca. Okay, does everybody all in favor?
Is it appropriate to jump backwards like this late in the game?
How do you mean, Tim?
I thought that we had settled this issue.
Well, we had, this was our PARAB's, our recommendation for the dedication of this particular parcel of land. The reason why we're back here revisiting it again is because this is the final plat that the applicants are going through now with the city, with planning. This is their final plat that needs to be recorded. And this is at this time when we would formally make our vote to accept or to approve this land dedication. So
I know, I feel like this is kind of, we're at our final step here, and I feel like this is adding another delay. Potentially.
Well, not really, because it's just all part of the next step of the process, really. The delay, and how do you mean, though? Can you explain that a little more?
Tim, I think I understand, right? I think we can accept the land dedication. And that goes
a
forward?
conditional acceptance with a, you know, with adding another hanging piece is gonna, you know, bring this back to us for another, you know, another review at our next meeting.
This is Chris. I don't have the minutes in front of me, but I believe the last time when we made the motion to propose this area as the pocket park, we did have a another item in that motion that covered what Danu is suggesting, that we wanted the remainder square footage we wanted to explore, or we wanted the fees in lieu of land for the part, like the square footage that is not being dedicated. And I can pull that up at some point, or Alicia can, but I don't have it right this minute.
So Rebecca, do you want to repeat your motion again with having that the stipulation that the remainder of the land dedication be
Sure. Yeah. So PARAB accepts the land dedication with the remainder of the square footage to go to fees in lieu of land. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and also that with the land dedication with creek access, right, Hannah?
Yeah, absolutely. As stated by Hannah, what she laid out for us. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I still second that. Discussion, anybody? No? All right, let's vote.
I didn't understand what to do. Hang on. Sorry, this is Taylor Stamp, one of the applicants. I've got my dad on speaker through Zoom, so it's a little difficult, but hopefully you might be able to hear us.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it doesn't.
Can they hear me?
It doesn't sound like they can hear you now.
I don't understand what they're doing because we already went through this where we kind of changing the thing and it could possibly delay us.
Yeah, so basically what Tim was pointing out, this could potentially delay us if we're not agreeing to certain things. We thought we had already agreed to a certain amount of fees in lieu with the open space portion, because there was 2 dedications. So we agreed to fees with one portion and then the dedication on the other section, the PARAB. Is that not correct?
That is correct. OSAC took fees in lieu of land.
Correct. So that was
for their total amount of land dedication.
So I think that was where the confusion came from. So I think that was where we got.
Can you hear me?
Can they hear me?
Yep.
Oh, that's better, Dale. Go ahead. Oh, that's better, Dale. Go ahead.
I can barely hear you guys. I tried calling in or whatever, and this is so I'm just totally baffled and frustrated right now because Hannah, tell us what's going on.
So this is pretty much what we have already been talking about, as Taylor said, is that we have 2 sides of a project. We have the cabin side and then we have the plat side. And on the cabin side, the land dedication is satisfied by the 11,000 square feet. And then the agreement was on the other side, on Sutherland Creek's side, up against the hill, that land dedication would be satisfied by fees in lieu. So I'll calculate what that is if it hadn't been calculated already. That was my understanding, and I think that's what Taylor just remembered as well and said. So I think we're all on the same page, but saying slightly different things.
Okay, because I believe the last calculation we had for land dedication was 35,000 square feet, which is sizably bigger chunk than the 11,000 of the land dedication that we agreed to accept. But
Right, so the 35,000 being for the entire project.
that's correct, but I believe that's how the formula is based though, in the
Right.
ordinance.
Right, so that's what we're saying too, is that it's, we're doing 11,000 to satisfy that first half, that cabin half, and then the other portion would come with like the second half of the project being fees in lieu. Totaling up to 35,000
Okay,
square feet.
okay. So we're saying the same thing, right, Hannah?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we're all saying the same thing right now.
Okay,
Thank you for
And we can
clarifying.
do that, and we can do that without coming to another
That's
meeting, so
correct.
we're not delayed.
that's correct. You can just let us PARAB know that what what the end all fees in lieu of land are but I know tonight we're just here to approve the land dedication with creek access.
Well, I'm on board as long as our discussion does not add any further delay.
Yeah, I don't think it will. Because from here on out, it's pretty much up to planning and city council. So,
Okay.
okay, can we vote?
Let's vote.
Okay, all in favor of accepting this land dedication with creek access as proposed in the final plat?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Okay, thank you, Hannah. And then,
Great, thanks, guys.
you can just get back with me about the rest of the fees in lieu of land and, you know, the calculations and all that.
All right, I'll follow up.
Thank you, Hannah.
Okay.
Thanks, Hannah.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we have to go back to our meeting here. The last item in old business is reviewing the organic land management policy. In the packet, we included the whole organic land management policy. And Matthew had concerns about some of the product that Clean Air Lawn was using. So he just wanted us to quickly talk about that and review that and approve of it again, just so we have a current approval of these products that are not 100% organic. However, they are approved by the EPA and they're environmentally friendly and earth friendly products. So Tim, are you still with us, Tim Bresnahan?
Yeah, I'm curious, where exactly did the concern come from? I mean, this is a naturally derived product. Yes, it's made in a factory as probably any product that we're using. I didn't understand where the concern came from after reading the documentation that Steve Moeller provided.
Right. Hey, Matthew, are you still with us?
I am, yes. Can anybody hear
Matthew
me?
Nelson, do you want to talk about your concerns, or you just wanting to? Why don't you address what Tim is asking?
Yeah, so I just want to make sure we're acting in accordance with the OLM policy. The product tenacity is not an organically listed product. It's not listed by OMRI. Now, that's not the end of the world, right? I just want to make sure that PARAB was aware of it, and PARAB didn't have any heartburn about utilizing that product. There's provisions in the OLM that state we don't have to use organic products at all times. But again, I'm just trying to make sure that we're executing the OLM the best we can, and that you all are okay with the product before it's put down. Because we had a couple of folks write in concerned about the use of this product.
So Matthew and Danu, I'm wondering if the people that were writing in were people that remembered when Steve Mole did it previously, he had the flags that were put down that said, you know,
Don't panic, it's
don't
organic.
panic, it's organic. So he doesn't have that this time. So I'm wondering if that's the kind of visceral reaction that's coming through rather than something that's with a knowledgeable background on what the product is. I don't know, I'm just guessing.
That could be. That could be. I just had, it might only been one or two people write in curious. They weren't upset about it. I just want to make sure that we are doing what we need to be doing. I don't want to be breaking our own rules, right?
Mhm. Well, I think
You're correct that the policy allows for exceptions if, from the standpoint of either direction from council or from an organic land manager, none of us are the organic land manager. So ultimately, I think to be in accordance with the policy, we just have to defer to that expert opinion. It is not my area of expertise to understand exactly what the difference between a synthetically produced organic compound compared to, I guess, something that grows on a plant. So from my standpoint, it seems fine, but again, we should defer to the this final decision of our organic land manager, unless anybody else has any objections.
I think we should go with what Steve Mole suggests because he's our best resident person for that.
Again, fine by me.
yeah, me too. Matthew, do you want us to make a motion to vote on this?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're all good. I'm not trying to rock the boat or cause any problems. I'm just trying to make sure that we're doing the right thing. As long as it's been discussed and approved by PARAB, I think we're fine.
Tim, you want to make a motion?
I'm not sure that we need to. I think this is more just advising and seems consistent. I'm not sure we need to make a motion.
How about, does everybody on PARAB approve of all the products that are Clean Air Lawn or organic turf contractor is using based on his recommendation, based on his knowledge of product from the EPA and from what Matthew's calling OMRI and stuff? Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah,
Is
I'm
everyone-
okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. Jan's okay, Tim's okay. Anthony?
I mean, I haven't actually heard Steve go through all the details of this, but this
Well,
sounds like
it's all in the
a
packet.
very reasonable approach. Yes, I think if we're seeing him as the expert in this, then I think that sounds like a good approach.
Well, there's, I also included information about these products too in the packet. Candace? You okay with it?
Sounds good.
Dave Crawford? Are you still with us, Dave?
Yep, all good, thanks.
Okay, all right. I don't want to forget you, David. Rebecca had to leave, but I'm sure she's probably fine with it too, so. Okay, is that good enough for you, Matthew?
It is, yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, what about me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. I can't see everybody on my
gosh.
screen.
But just kidding. I know nothing about lawn care products, so I defer to Steve.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay, so up to reports. I don't really have anything to report for Park and Rec. Michelle Weatherhold, do you have anything to report from council?
Yes, on May 16th, council approved 2 electronic vehicles. They are like little shuttles to help bring people through Manitou Springs in addition to our buses.
Oh, okay.
So we're very excited about that.
We're leasing those, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay, OSAC doesn't have anything else. Park and Rec. Matthew? You want to go ahead and give us a quick report? Do you have anything other than the Parks Monthly Report?
All I see on there is we're painting the pavilions. We're
Right.
getting bids for 7-minute pavilion and the Bud Ford Pavilion and Soda Springs Park there. They're coming in about where we expected them to. And it's fairly expensive, but we're getting a couple of bids and that should be covered under beautification funding. Other than that, just basic early season maintenance. We planted like 32 trees and we still have a couple more, so that's exciting. And we're almost up to full staff, which is really exciting.
Okay, great. Can I ask you?
I have a.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Chris.
sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, did you say something about paintings? 7-minute Springs Pavilion.
That's correct. Yes.
Do you remember, Danu, when we had that woman come to PARAB about the color of the paint on the? Anyway.
Yes.
She needs to come back now and give us her opinion on what color.
I thought about that. I sort of ran that by Matthew and because basically they're going to stay the same color that they are now. But I know she was upset about that one color up in the gable ends of the pavilion. But I'll ask her. Okay, Chris.
Cool. Great.
Yeah. And then Matthew, I saw in the Parks Monthly Report that you guys removed the peeps. Are you guys, why did you remove peeps from Peeps Park?
They had degraded, so the fiberglass was poking through and I was afraid it's going to be a danger to somebody. So we contacted the artist and they're being repaired right now. They should be back within a month.
Okay, very good. Okay, and then for other, are we already to other business? I guess we just set a date for our July retreat. Usually in July, instead of having a regular meeting, because our meetings fall around 4th of July, we get together and meet in person and talk about our next month's budget and where we want to focus and spend our money. And it's when we can all kind of meet in person and do a little PARAB bonding. So if you guys want to look at your July calendar, so we can all pick a date when we're all going to be here.
Jan, are we
Question.
Sorry, Jan, go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering if we're gonna try to look at what's available at the city hall, because it looks like there are a lot of times that we can't do it, so.
Usually I like going above the library in the MAC building.
In the Manitou Art Center. Yeah, like we've done before, so it doesn't make any difference what's available. We just need to check with Natalie.
Right.
Okay, and then so the next thing is to see when people are available.
Right.
As far as not only date, but time of day. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that was my question, Danu. Are
I
we
wish
looking?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't know who was talking. Are we looking for a particular day of the week, a weekend, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It has to be a day when most of us can go and attend.
I wonder if it should be a Monday night.
And I'm sorry that Rebecca. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just thinking in that case, I wonder if we should just try to aim for a Monday evening, not the 3rd of July, but one later in the month, since we're sort of accustomed to getting together on Mondays. I wonder if that would be the easiest. We could start early.
I was looking at the 10th that Monday, thinking kind of the same thing, Colin.
Okay. Tim, do you have your calendar? Chris?
I'm going to be in Japan for most of July, so you're probably going to have to plan her without me.
Okay.
Tim, you are so fancy.
What was that word you used, Colin?
Fancy. He's fancy.
He's a fancy guy. He's a fancy
I didn't
guy.
tell you what I was going to be doing, but
I may have something on the 10th, and if the 17th were an option, that might be better, but I'm,
Okay, Chris, we have the 10th and 17th.
I can do either of those.
Okay, Dave Crawford,
Either works for me.
okay. Candace,
Either one.
did I get everybody? Well,
I'm good for either one as well.
how about we do July 17?
Okay.
What time do we want to start? Do we want to do 6 again or?
We could do it earlier if people can come earlier. You know, we could start it. Well, Chris, I don't know. Let me see. Well, I guess, I don't know. We could start at
6 would
5:30.
work better.
For you?
Well, yeah, something a little later-ish would be better for me, but you know, like around the same time or maybe slightly earlier would be okay.
Okay, well, maybe just keep it at 6. You guys okay with that?
6 is fine with me. Make it a little potluck or.
Yep. Or I could pick something up, or, you know, sort of do a semi-cater or something like that.
Let's have it semi-catered and people can bring something else. We can determine that. Kind of, why don't you see what PARAB funds can pay for, and then we can fill in.
Okay. And I'll just send out a email around for everybody, and you guys can just email me back with
Perfect.
food
Perfect.
preferences or food limitations, or no filet mignon, okay, Colin?
I was gonna ask for surf and turf, but okay.
Well, see, I knew you were gonna go there. So, all right, well, let me see if we can get that space, and I'll let everybody know upstairs of the MAC.
Danu,
And, yes, go ahead.
why don't we do the 17th, but as an alternate date, maybe the 10th? And maybe we'll try to make it on the 17th because Anthony can do it, but can everyone else do the 10th if that doesn't work, other than, of course, the Japanese guy?
Yeah, the Japanese guy. Yeah, he just wants to go see those bathhouses.
It is an attraction.
I'm okay with the 10th as well, so I'll see what Natalie says. Okay.
Just trying to plan ahead.
Yep. No, that's good thinking. Right. Anything else, you guys? Yeah. Well, if not, then let's adjourn for tonight. Thank you very much for all your votes and input, etc.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll see you in
Nice to see
July.
all of you.
Okay.
have a good night.
Have a great night.
You too.
Welcome, Anthony, by the way.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you in person on the 17th, hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Colin.
Good night.
Good night.